to No Movies in Hell. I'm Chris Geiger.
I'm Jessica Jung.
And today we're reviewing Top Gun Maverick. So Jessica and I got to see Top Gun Maverick together because I was in Chicago the weekend it came out, Memorial Day weekend. So that was a lot of fun. We went to the theater closest to her apartment, which was in downtown Chicago near the Magnificent Mile. And it was almost empty. We went to the first show kind of after business hours on a Friday. I thought there'd be way more people in the theater.
I found out that it was actually not technically out or released or something like that. So when we went, it was like special, I don't know if special, but like preview hours, and maybe that was afforded to like AMC members. Yeah, but it wasn't like officially released yet. So people were actually surprised when they heard that I had already seen it, because it was like, oh, but it just came out like today. And I was like, oh, I saw it last week.
Did you see it on Thursday? I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was definitely a weekday. That's
okay.
not right.
Okay. But so that was fun. We got to go and see it, and it wasn't super crowded, which movies that are super crowded now kind of freak me out.
Yeah.
But I'm getting more and more used to it as time passes. We've both seen the original Top Gun, and we're both fans of the original Top Gun. So we went into it with very positive feelings and a lot of goodwill, but also a little bit of healthy skepticism, like, is this going to be as good? Like, how did you feel after you saw it, just as a general?
I liked it. It was just it was what I expected in terms of like entertainment value, and and I was very happy at the end, because you had kept saying that he's gonna die. And I was like prepping myself for like, that sadness. And he did. So that was yay. So that was good. I really yeah, it was kind of like it had some of that old Top Gun feeling to it, but the stories moved on and progressed, and we got to see Val Kilmer a little bit, and so I thought it was just very entertaining, like expected, but in a good way, and I enjoyed it. It was a nice, fun movie to go to.
Yeah, I mean, it was summer, big budget action. Like it hit all of the things that you expected it to hit and deliver, and it did it really well, right? Because of course they had a tremendous budget for this. They were able to like bring in elements that I think maybe smaller film stars are not able to get for their movies.
Oh yeah.
Like
yeah.
The scene with Val Kilmer, like if they had just done that scene and nothing else, then it still would have been worth it to me, because I just thought that was like amazing.
I really thought that it would just be his like photo, like his admiral photo, and like they would just kind of talk about him in the background. So I was really surprised when he actually showed up and then even had lines. So that was pretty awesome. Yeah. It was really sad to see though, because I still remember the first Top Gun and the volleyball scene, and I remember like it's still in my brain very vividly, Val Kilmer, and so it was a little sad to see, but at the same time, kind of like it was great to see.
Yeah, I like Jennifer Connelly. I think she is a great actress.
Yeah,
I don't think they did very much with her. Like she just kind of got to be the love interest, but even that storyline was very marginal, and she didn't really get a ton of like stretch opportunity, right? So that was disappointing.
But she also was like barely mentioned in the first one. Like she was just like a line, right? Like a joke. And so like the fact that I think that was who they were talking about, like the admiral's daughter or whatever, and so for it to kind of like loop back and be like, oh, like I thought that was kind of cool.
Let's go to our slide. So we both gave it the exact same score, although we got there in different ways.
Yeah. So I guess I was a little higher on costumes, and you were a little higher on jewelry. I just like, what jewelry, Chris? What jewelry was it? Was it all the like the chains that all the airmen were wearing?
You know what? Now I think so the way this scoring system works is 2 is average. So 1 means I noticed and it was bad. 3 means I noticed and it was good. So 2 is just I didn't really notice either way. It was just what I would expect for that movie. So
Mhm.
there was no jewelry, which is what I would expect for that movie.
Right.
I still give it a 3 in terms of acting, only because I mean I didn't think everyone. I certainly didn't think the roles were written for like people to really have these
Right.
big epiphanies or like I. But the fact that they did a lot of their stunt work, like the fact that they went through that training, like props to you for doing that. Like you didn't have to. Other movies would just CGI a lot of stuff in, and you would green screen everything. But the fact that they went through that, I guess it falls in the category of acting. I'll put it there anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I'm not saying that Tom Cruise doesn't have range, but like maybe not so much as, I don't know, like a really, like I'm blinking right now on who to compare him to, but like I think Tom Cruise knows his sweet spot, his money making spot, and he does that really well.
Right. Like he's got that down. Like the boyish grin, the like,
Yeah.
I'm not a teacher, just want to manage expectations, like that sort of thing.
Yeah, he definitely kept the whole Maverick alive.
The story, I gave it a 3, even though I didn't really think I thought it went off the rails when it turned into Mission Impossible, right? Like I did think it would be a great story if like it had ended before it became Mission Impossible.
Mhm.
Right? Like he's like went back in to save Goose's son and sacrifices himself on the way. Like that is a very like strong poetic ending. Then they just snatched it out and said, "Nope, we're gonna give everyone a happy ending."
I really want him to die.
I just think that would have been a better story. But because of the Val Kilmer scene, I felt like it was okay. Like they canceled each other out, so I was okay with it. And it is hard, right? Expectations are so high for this movie. Like, how are you going to make it good? It's like the Elvis movie, right? Like expectation, like people love Elvis so much. Like he's such an iconic figure. How are you going to do a movie about him that people like?
Not everybody. Um, and then those people who have a problem with his history are really not going to like the glorification of his story either, right? So, like, it's a tough one. But that's about a real person. And Top Gun, I mean, it's definitely emotional for everybody who saw the first one, or like was old enough to see the first one. And so I think, yeah, they had a challenge there in keeping that kind of um emotional, and most of us were probably pretty young back then, and we believed in those, like, those themes of like loyalty and having someone's back, and but also being like a maverick, and like you know and sticking it to your superiors and things like that, things that don't actually fly in real life. um and also like the whole premise, like I still remember thinking back, like watching that movie, and it was like, wait, so is the US at war with some country? And even here it's kind of a little bit like, are we allowed to do that technically? Like I don't feel like we can actually do that without starting another war. So it's, I mean, but it is make believe. So yeah, like it definitely had an emotional like tie-in that they needed to meet for all of our childhood sakes, and I think they met it. I'm glad Maverick didn't die. It did get a little bit. It did kind of like start sliding into the whole Mission Impossible area, but like they did it with so much like humor, like like a little bit of like stooginess, that it was like I felt like, oh, okay, that's okay, because I wouldn't, I mean, they have that humor in like Mission Impossible, but it's not like the stooginess, right? Because they're all like super professionals, whereas here, like especially with Miles Teller, like just like the kid, I felt like it was okay because they balanced it out with that and just trying to portray them as like normal humans and what they would do in that situation if they could fly an airplane. That's important.
if they could fly an airplane that they just randomly found that still worked out of like the control of the people who owned it, yeah, sure.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's a stretch, but
Mhm. Mhm. All right. Any other comments on the categories?
no, I think it was overall just, I think we both liked it generally and just really appreciate the work that they put into like making it real.
Yeah, I did just see a promo for Mission Impossible, the next Mission Impossible, which is like in 2 years. Like
Yeah.
they're already running promos for it. So I was like, oh wow, that's
Do you think they're gonna do what they do with Bond and just like have a new like main character, or do you think that's
it was
gonna
Tom Cruise.
right? But like, does it seem like he's like passing the mantle, or is it like this is the end of his like IMF story?
I have no idea. I
All right.
didn't. I mean, I when the last mission, I never watched the Mission Impossibles, but
Oh
when the
no.
last one came out, I went back and watched the other ones through Netflix or whatever streaming
Mhm.
service had them. So
Mhm.
I'm caught up now.
Oh, okay, that's good. It's important. There's a story, sort of. There's a storyline, and it jumps. Like the storyline in the very first one is not carried over anywhere else except that very first one, but then it kind of is because there's some character overlap, like Luther, right? But it's really just his origins and then like his love life, and then people trying to destroy the world. But okay, okay. Like, do you like it? Like the franchise overall?
I mean, it's good for what it is. I wouldn't say I like it. I would just,
Mhm.
it's entertaining. It's like candy. I like candy, but I just can't have that much of it. It's not good for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have anything you'd like to plug at the end of this episode?
No. No.
Are there any movies coming up that you are excited about or?
There's movies out right now that I need to go see if I could ever make time. I still haven't seen Elvis, even though I was super excited about it.
Hmm.
Um, there's a Korean movie, the what's it called in English? The un something. It's like the second one. There was like one. I don't know if it's like a sequel or what, but
Oh, The Witch, the other one?
oh, The Witch I know came out. I haven't seen that either. I heard not great things about it. I heard it start getting kind of too like people were flying and then it was just like okay, come on. Like it was just they took it to like too much of an unbelievable level from like, special kids to like mutants and it just kind of killed it. But I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. It's the unbound no, the unbroken no. Oh, I forget. But I really want to see that. I definitely want to see Elvis. I haven't seen Thor, Love and Thunder. I heard it's a good time, so I definitely want to see that. Yeah, it's been a time constraint. And now apparently I really want to see a horror Winnie the Pooh.
We have time on that. That's not coming out right away.
Is that like slated for this Halloween?
I can't remember now. I was just so disturbed by the whole thing.
The premise
I
of
think I
it.
blocked it out. But yeah, it's I'll let you know when I see it in theaters.
I mean, I wonder how scary it's gonna be. Is this like I can only watch it on a plane, or can I watch it at home? It's silly enough.
It seems like
Um,
a real horror movie.
yeah, which means I have to watch it on a plane. So I hope it comes out by September because I'll be on a plane, or I'm gonna have to wait a whole year and hope it comes out. It's like on a plane by then. But interesting, very very interesting. Uh, So if I understand it correctly, they won't get sued by Disney because that particular story is not one that was ever actually told through the original Winnie the Pooh series. Am I understanding that correctly and why they're not going to get sued for that?
Yes, because Disney only owns their versions of Winnie the Pooh.
Right.
Winnie the
Okay.
Pooh origins are out in the public domain now.
Okay. So I feel like this applies to a lot. And there's like an opportunity here. If I make movies if I
Right.
made movies to make a horror version of so many things. Like, why isn't there a horror version of Teletubbies? That's what I want to know.
Well, I don't think they're public domain yet, but keep that in the folder for future.
I feel like that is that hits a specific generation that had to watch that creepiness in a
Right.
non-horror setting.
Something like Raggedy Ann and Andy, though, like that's probably public
Okay.
domain now.
Yeah, it has like the whole child's play like feeling to it, so that would
Mhm,
be
mhm.
perfect. Yeah. Mhm.
So you and I will be in Korea for a little bit together this fall. Maybe we will watch movies while we're there.
Yes, we should. We can't watch Korean movies because they wouldn't have English subtitles, I don't think.
Probably not. But I think like I only saw one movie when I was in Korea last time, and it was Creed 2.
Oh, okay.
So that's but maybe Bullet Train will be out when we're there.
Hmm.
I think that's coming out in September.
Okay.
So
I really just want to experience the whole Korean movie theater experience because I've heard things about interesting popcorn flavors and just general like it just seems interesting. It's really about the food. It was like the snacks that just like what they eat in Korea. And so I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. I want to try that.
the
Um,
theater I went to did have interesting popcorn flavors, but because I was working on East Coast time, I was there like bright and early and like for the
oh
first showing
yeah.
of every like, hello, is it time for the 10:30 a.m. movie yet?
Did they have the dried squid?
I don't remember that specifically, but maybe. I don't I just remember thinking, wow, this is like a very extensive concession stand
Yeah.
offering. But like it was me and like the guy who like basically does everything. He like opens the security gate, he takes your ticket, he like, and you're, it's not one of those, like they have a thing where you can only come in 15 minutes before the show starts.
Oh, okay.
Like you're not hanging out there.
Right.
So, which I didn't realize because I got there early and thought I was just gonna hang out, but no.
Interesting. Okay, I'm getting a peek into what my life in Korea is going to be like now.
So, all right, lady, I'm gonna stop recording. Thanks everyone for joining. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, everyone.